Hello and welcome to my next Groovy programming tutorial. This is tutorial we're going to relate how writing a concept in English to convey an idea to another person, and then writing it in computer code to convey it an idea to the CPU or the computer. Here is our statements. We have 3 statements written in English. If somebody was to come up to you and says a girl named Amy has a dog named Tony, you immediately know that there's 2 objects there. A girl with a name of Amy and a dog with a name of Tony. The next sentence says Amy takes Tony for a walk. So these 2 objects now are doing something, okay? Amy takes Tony, Amy the girl, takes Tony the dog for a walk. They're both walking, okay? There's one reference of walk here, but it says Amy takes Tony for a walk. So you understand they're both walking, right? Amy has to be walking if she's walking the dog, yes? And then the next statement says Tony likes to run. Okay, you would imagine then at this point when Amy takes the dog off the leash, Tony likes to run around at the dog park, for instance. Okay, so that's in English, okay? Person to person, you understand that, and there's a lot of ambiguity in the way. For instance, how old is the girl? How old is the dog? What type of dog is it? Where are they walking to and from? And how long are they going, out to about? What's the weather like outside? So on and so forth. Now, the computer doesn't necessarily need to know all of those details when we're writing, but there are a few things that we need to define for the computer. For each object, we need to define a class. The best way to understand what a class is like when you're in middle school and you first got to exchange periods to go to a new class. It was first math class, and then it was science class or English class, and in each class you learned a specific subject. Well, in this case, the class is a girl. The subject here is a girl, and we define what the characteristics of the girl are. In this case, the girl has a name and an age. That's what we're going to leave at that. And this next class, the computer program goes to the class of dog and learns about the dog. The class is also a definition. So when you go to the class of a dog, the computer is learning about the dog type of object, not the type of dog, but the type of object that the computer is. A class, another word for class is type. So this is what type of object are we describing here? It's a girl and it's a dog, okay? And this object has the difference between these objects, a girl and a dog, are their properties. So the name and an age, and this one has a name and a type. We can delete. So in this particular program, with these 2 definitions, that's what we're talking about. A name and an age, which we call a girl, and a name and a type, which we call a dog. Okay? We also defined 2 different methods down here, walk and run, because in our problem domain we said they walk and they run, and Tony the dog likes to run. So both of these methods are in the class dog. Okay? We must, of course, define a walk method for the girl too if she's taking the dog for a walk, right? Because they're both walking, so they both must have a method for walk. Now there's another way to write this with using polymorphism, which means many different types. For instance, we could say that there was a person object, as a person could be both a boy or a girl, and then we can extend, define the girl as being the extends person. Like, for instance, if we had a class of person, this particular one would be a girl. But to keep saying simple for the first tutorial, we want to relate, again, like I said, the English equivalent for a computer. Okay? So we have in the English, remember, we're talking about a predicate and a subject. So what we're going to look at is nouns and verbs. Okay, classes, the objects are the nouns, a girl and a dog. Okay, so we have a girl object and a dog object. Okay, to the computer, we define it with the class keyword for objects, and then we define the properties, okay, that make each girl unique in memory. Because you can create, a girl named Serenity, a girl named Juliet, a girl named, Amy, of course. In this problem domain, we have a girl named Amy. And for the dog, we have the properties of name and type. Okay, for instance, it could be a type like a boxer, a type of a German Shepherd, and so on and so forth. Okay, and we also want to define the methods of what these characters can do, or these objects can do. In this case, a girl can walk. Okay, there's many more actions that a girl or a person that is a female that we call a girl could do. But for these three sentences, that's all we're going to define. Okay, walk, and the dog walks, of course, if the girl is walking the dog, and the Tony likes to run. So moving down, how do we write that? Now that this is the definition of a dog, and this is the definition of the girl. Now we haven't wrote any logic in the methods. At this point, it's irrelevant because we're just trying to get a concept done. We could say that, walking logic here, okay, is going to be there. We'll copy that into this one, and then this one is going to be run logic there. Okay, so whatever that logic is necessary, we could have like a starting point, and walk means walk 5 paces to the left, and then run means, we'll walk 5 paces to the left in 1 second, and this means run, 3 paces to the left in 1 second, or what, well, the logic is defined within these curly braces of the method. Do you see that? Okay, within these curly braces of the method, and within these curly braces of the method. We're not necessarily going to get into the logic on this tutorial, because again, we're just trying to understand the concepts. So we defined a girl.
Oh, it's just Mike Pence. You see,
I'm sorry, let's go back here. So here, once we get to this part of the program, the definitions are held in memory, okay? And now we can use these definitions. We can define a girl, and we say the new keyword, and then the class, the type of object we want is a girl, and the parameters that we are passing through are we want to set the properties. Yes. So let's go over here and hit save, and go back to our terminal and hit. Let's see here. Where are we at? Where's this? It's in documents. We're going to change into documents. Yes. Okay, list, and then change in. Oh, there's so Groovy, and then go to fun. Oh, there's nothing here to do. I know what we can do. For now, we can say, we can just print a line out and say Amy is walking. Okay, and then we will print a line out here and say, oh, I'm sorry. We want to put a name in here. We will interpolate the name. Oh, I need double quotes in order to do that. Single quotes is just, so we'll do this name is walking. Okay, and here we're going to print line double quotes again, so we can use a variable. Name is walking, and then we can just copy this, and I'll put that here. I'm sorry, go back, and then go to the end, and then hit enter, and then paste, and I will change this to whatever that dog name is. Okay, so there we just, we want to print line, of course. Alright. Now in Groovy, the parentheses of the method are omitted. I mean, we could just, put this in here, in the middle of this thing, like so. But the whole idea of writing Groovy is to reduce the amount of typing and to make it look more like a English. I'm going to go back here by pressing Control Z. Okay, so Shift Z to go forward. Control S to save. And when we go down here to the objects that we've now created in memory, remember the new keyword means construction. So the computer is going to the definition, which is here, and it's constructing this in memory. Okay? So that's a good way to remember that. So at this point we have a dog and a girl in memory. We have a girl named Amy who's age 6, and we have a dog named Tony with a type of boxer. So now we can say the girl dot walk. Yes. Let's go the dog. This thing that we're using is this keyword right here, is this dog that we built in memory. Okay, so let's do this, go back over to here, and now let's use Groovy Fun and see what happens. We should get a statement that's printed out, of course. Now, where did Amy and Tony come from? Where did this come from in memory? Remember, the class that we defined says we defined that object named girl, and this object has a name and an age. Okay? So when we constructed the girl object in memory, we passed through as a parameter the name of Amy, and it sets that equal to the name, and we passed an age of 6, and it sets that as age. Okay? Make sense? The same thing for the dog. We set the name for Tony and a boxer for type. So now that we go down here to, let's add one more thing for the dog and set type. I want to print line. Print line. Dog dot type. Let's see what that shows. We'll run it one more time, and it should say boxer. Okay. You can see here in the line of code, we're calling the dog object in memory, and then we're saying type. What this does, this dot operator says we're getting the type. Okay? And in Java, as Groovy is a superset of Java, this will work just the same. Okay? We could also do this, and we'll do a clear so we can move all that out. Hit the up arrow twice so we can get to the last statement.
Pursue what drives you today.
And we get the same thing. Do you see how this Java code is the same thing as just using the property name? Okay, here it is again to show, and there it is. We're calling the type of dog that we set here is boxer. Clear that and go back up to Groovy Fun. And we can see that Amy is walking, Tony is walking, boxer is the type, and Tony is running. So that is how you program. Okay? Now, to say that Amy takes Tony for a walk, okay, this is, the girl is walking and the dog is walking. The girl's walking the dog, and the dog is running. Okay, the boxer, which is the type of dog, is running. So we don't write English for the computer. You have to give the noun, dot, and then the verb. Okay, and then of course that verb can be as the logic that is typed in the method. Whatever that is. Okay, hope that helps, and I hope to see you on the next video. Like and subscribe if you find my videos useful. Thanks a lot.